Welcome, sir, to our Vivekanand Literature Festival. So before I start, I'll just ask you a few questions and all. So the first question is, sir, so as an MBA scholar from Columbia Business School and a CA degree holder from New York, would you like to share your experience with us?
I think a lot has changed from the time I started my journey in studying and academics, right? So at that time, I think the only way to further your knowledge was to get good degrees and prestigious degrees, right? People are still doing it and it still remains prestigious. It requires a lot of hard work, a lot of planning. I mean, you cannot just get into a big university that way. So you have to plan and you have to work hard towards it. However, what I have seen in the last 10 to 15 years is a big shift in people doing extremely well by acquiring skills and not necessarily degrees. So I'll just kind of give an example of that. A lot of people who can create content today, say, assuming, right? They may not go to the best film schools, but they are able to create that content for YouTube or for other channels and do very well for themselves. So earlier, you had to go to a film school to be able to get an opportunity, but today we can actually learn the skills and take it to market without actually going to university. So that's the shift. So you have to always keep that in perspective also.
Thank you, sir. So moving forward to the next question, what advice would you have, like from an MBA student seeking and making a meaningful impact in their chosen field?
I think as an MBA student, coming to the college and learning from the professors is one part, which actually is important. But the second part, which has also taken a lot of importance, is to keep an eye on what's happening in the global economy, Indian economy, what is happening in the world. So essentially, by not being aware of what's happening in the world and just looking for the degree is not going to solve your problem of doing well in life. Ultimately, the objective is that you want to do good for yourself. You first want to get into good businesses, you want to start your businesses, you want to get a good job maybe. So all those things can happen if you are fully aware about what's happening outside of your campus also. So I would urge the students to read a lot, start with Economic Times, but read about the economy, read about the geopolitics, read about what's happening in the world, go to the websites that you like, but without that and connecting your education, you will be just stranded on one island. So from the island to reach the city, there is a bridge, right? That bridge is the knowledge gap between the academia and the industry. So keep an eye on that is my suggestion.
So what would be your suggestion for the books, as you have mentioned, like read books and read Economic Times?
So I think from a books perspective or publications, I think you can just get started with the Economic Times as a starting point. There are a lot of other financial magazines, a lot of websites. I think just start with that. Just start reading as to what's happening and connecting the dots. Even if you read Times of India and Economic Times as two basic newspapers, right, every day from start to finish, you'll start understanding that what's all is going on in the world and how does it matter to you. Like if there is a news which says that defense equipment will now be made in India, you should know that there is a trend now of actually making these things which were being imported from France or Israel or Russia now will be made in India. So there will be an industry which will benefit. Manufacturing, engineering industries will be benefit. So everything is connected to what we are doing. So seeing that interconnectivity of the world is the thing I want to develop for you to develop. The more you develop that interconnectivity, how things are, you will be more valuable to any organization. Like if you come to interview for me to work in my company, if I see that you can connect the dots, I will hire you. It doesn't matter whether you know that particular job or not.
Okay.
Its ability to connect the dots is very important about how things are in the news, economy, what needs to happen, and then how you take the solutions. Because ultimately, businesses or any job for that matter is only seeking one thing or one kind of person. They are only seeking problem solvers. Remember that. They are not interviewing for a particular job. They may, I mean, I will also interview for a marketing specialist or a operations specialist or an HR specialist. Fine, those are skills which are required. But at the core, I'm looking for a problem solver. That if a problem comes in front of you, will you be able to solve it? Like if today this camera gets spoiled and we are not able to give this interview, is there someone in this room who can solve this problem right now? However, I don't know what, but if that problem can be solved, then I will notice that person that okay fine, I will probably give my card and say that come and meet me, because I want to know that person, because problem solving is more important, so develop that.
Yes, thank you sir for that.
No problem.
So the next question is, in your experience, how can a networking and a building profession relationships contributes to the success of the MBA brands?
Very important. I think my initial part of the career or my life, I would say, when I was in my early 20s, I joined a lot of organizations and a lot of places where I could go see what's going on, hear the people like who have come today to talk, and also network with them, because you learn a lot, and then at the right time you also get that little help from them that is needed. So network, think about it as the grace marks in school. So if you have done enough, you will pass, but sometimes you don't do enough and you are not able to pass, but the teacher has the right to give you some grace marks because you are a good student, you are a nice person, that's why you say okay fine, isko pass kar do. So similarly, network is something which you can't bank on completely for your career, but at the right time it acts as that grace mark to you, and wherein you need that little help, little connect, little push, it comes to your rescue. So basically, having a network is important. Like I mean, say assuming you are interviewing in a company, you really want that company, and you know you're already selected. But then sometimes a person on the other side may be known to your network. So you can ask that, what does this company need? What are they really like? I mean, you know me now, right? I've given you the thing that I'm looking for problem solvers, right? So if you know that little information before going for an interview, that's enough sometimes. So you can have your answers, you can prepare for the interview that way. So network is important as a helping hand at the right time. So developing a network is definitely very powerful. You should join certain forums and all of that which is going on in your field, whatever that you are seeking. If you want to get into automobile industry, if you want to get into banking industry, so whatever the networks are for those industry, you should definitely go listen what the people are talking and get to know the people within that as much as possible.
So as there is a saying, so before doing anything, any job, you have to do sales. So is that true or a myth?
Good question. I think yes, sales is extremely important. For that, do you have to do sales or no, may or may not be true. But sales as a skill is very important. Right now, what am I doing? I'm selling myself. I'm not interviewing only. I'm actually projecting something about me, wherein if someone hears it, would want to at least associate with me or not. So in every action that you do, there is a little bit of selling always involved. And to that extent, if you can work in sales and acquire those skills, good for you. Even otherwise, little bit of selling is required in everything that you are doing. So even if you take up an engineering job or a normal MBA job, in the organization you have to sell your ability to lead tomorrow. In 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, when they are looking for, say, a department head, who will they choose? They will choose the person who has sold that himself or herself as a sales leader all those 15 years. So selling is a skill set that you have to develop anyways, whether you do a job or not. So that's why they say that you have to do sales so that you can learn those skills.
Okay, so the next question is like, what qualities or skills do you believe are crucial for MBA, especially as like aspiring for a leadership role or any business world in particular?
I think I would just bifurcate into 3 parts. Problem solving remains number one. I mean, if you can do that time and again, believe me, you'll be worth in gold. Because there is a leadership lacuna in this country. When I say leadership lacuna, which means that we are not taught true leadership as individuals of this country. Hence, when there's a problem, we don't take the ownership of that. So if you do that, you will stand out very much in any company that you go. So if you are in a company setup, if you are in in this organization, in this university here, if you take the leadership of problem solving, believe me, you will be number one. People will know you because there is so much less competition in problem solving in this country. So it becomes a very easy sport to win. So let's make a sport out of problem solving. That I will be the best problem solver, and that requires a little bit of thinking out of the box and all of that. But at least attitude hona chahiye of problem solving. Second, three skills I've talked about, right? So problem solving is number one. Second, be very good with numbers. Without being good with numbers, your value as an MBA is zero. What do you mean? Numbers, when I say numbers, is data and analysis. So if I ask you that is Mumbai crowded, it's a very generic, vague question to you, right? I can ask you, I'm a foreigner in this country, I don't know about this country, and I've come to Mumbai. Is Mumbai crowded to you? And if you answer, no, Mumbai is not less crowded, more crowded, I don't know what is less or more crowded. But if you say that of the top 10 cities of the world, this is the population, this is the average number of people who are living per square feet, India ranks here, Mumbai ranks there, Japan ranks over there, and hence Mumbai is not as crowded as compared to Japan, but more crowded than this city. Now I can put some perspective to it. What did you do for me? Data and analysis. So if you are an MBA and if you don't give me that answer, I will basically view you as a literature student. Like more and less is subjective. I don't want that answer. So as a student of management, numbers, data, analysis is your core, and that only quantifies everything. So number one is problem solving, number two is numbers and data, and number three is keeping an eye on new inventions and new things which are going on in the world and connecting it back to your company. Not knowing what AI is doing, not knowing what ChatGPT is doing, I will not be able to respect you as a professional. So you have to know what's going on in the market and bringing it to the workplace.
So as if I may add the question over here, so there is a lot of work in your work life and the personal life as well. So how do you balance it? So as a MBA students, most of the people are very frustrated where to put time in that, where to put your priorities and efforts in that. So how do you calculate it? And
I think finding what you like solves a little bit of a problem of work-life balance, wherein you basically, if you are doing something that you like already, you will be less critical of why you have to work or do whatever that you're doing, right? So if you enjoy the work, you're at least not asking yourself that what am I doing, right? So that is the first step of finding what you want to do. Second is, even if you have found the right thing and if you're enjoying, that doesn't mean that you can keep working 16 hours a day and sacrifice on your personal life. So you have to create boundaries that I will say, assuming I want to focus on my health. So I will say that I will, no matter what, I will go for a walk or I will go to the gym no matter what in the morning, or doing whatever makes sense to me on a personal level. I will not compromise on that. So hence, I think you have to create boundaries between the two, but finding your calling, मेरे को ये पसंद है, and finding that is most important, so that you are not frustrated with that. If you've joined MBA, होता नहीं है, मतलब हमने भी कि मेरे को करना था मन से, इसलिए मैं कर रहा हूँ MBA, and hence I will not be cribbing about it, right? But if you are forced into it, then you will ask yourself that why am I doing this? So finding what you do is very important, and then creating boundaries is the second step. Just clear boundaries. कि ये मैं this time I will give this to, this time I will give to. Very methodical day planning has to happen. My diary, I always roam around with a diary which has written my to-dos for the day by minutes. The minute I go from here, I will have these things I have to strike off my list, this, that, and the evening when if I have not completed that thing, I feel less accomplished, that I have not accomplished my today's to-do list. So keeping a tab on what you need to achieve every day is very important.
So basically productivity must going on.
Productivity is on a very, very hyper productivity level you have to be leading your life on, so that your time is managed well, used well, and the free time is available to your own thing. Last night I went for a movie. because I wanted to see a movie. Like, I mean, I can't not see things just because I'm working all the time. I had a lot of work, but I kept that work aside. I said, I want to see this movie, so I will go for the movie no matter what, and I will make sure that I catch up all the. But some people get into the rut of compromising on their personal life and doing it and not remaining hyper productive.
So the last question to you, how do you like our fest?
It's very good. It's a very different fest. I've never attended a fest like this before. It kind of combines a lot of nationalism, cultural things, and business and other kind of things. I've not been to a university which promotes all of these things, so I felt very rejuvenated to see that something like this is happening. I would like to associate myself because at least the university has the courage to show all of these things. But a lot of people don't want to talk about it, so it's good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.